The Commission of Inquiry was not a criminal investigation intended to identify and assign individual criminal responsibility for the perpetration of this assassination. This is the exclusive responsibility of the Pakistani authorities. The Commission's job was to carry out a fact-finding inquiry that would be helpful in shedding light on a deeply tragic and traumatizing event for Pakistan and its people. We hope it not only achieves this objective, but also contributes to ending impunity for this assassination and becomes a step forward toward ending impunity for such political crimes in Pakistan. I shall turn now to the substance of the report. The first section of it places the assassination in the historical and political context essential to its understanding. Ms. Bhutto was not the first major political figure, or even the first in her family, to be killed or to have died in an untimely fashion in Pakistan history. Throughout this tragic history, there has been little concerted attempt by the competent authorities to bring to justice those who planned, supported, financed, or carried out these and similar crimes. This situation has contributed to a widespread expectation of impunity. The report also traces in detail the more immediate political and security backdrop against which the assassination took place. The two key aspects were the political power struggle over the continuation of military rule under President General Pervez Musharraf, or the restoration of democratically elected civilian government, and a sharp increase in violence throughout 2007, both by Islamist extremists and by the state. The report contains, in this regard, a detailed discussion of the dynamics surrounding Ms. Bhutto's return to Pakistan in October 2007 after 8 years of exile, particularly the negotiations with then President Musharraf, facilitated by the United Kingdom and the United States, regarding the terms under which she would return. Ultimately, there was no agreement between Ms. Bhutto and General Musharraf regarding power sharing or otherwise working together. According to diverse sources, she had a clear understanding of the serious risks she faced. However, Ms. Bhutto believed that General Musharraf was using the security issue as a ploy to intimidate her, to keep her out of Pakistan, and to prevent her from campaigning. You will recall that a first attempt on Ms. Bhutto occurred on 18th October 2007. The very day Ms. Bhutto returned to Pakistan after 8 years of exile. Ms. Bhutto was not hurt, but many others were, with the official toll put at 149 deaths and 402 injured. The report examines in detail the security offered and provided to Ms. Bhutto in preparation for and following her return to Pakistan through to the day of her assassination on 27 December 2007 at the federal, state, and local levels, as well as by Ms. Bhutto's own party. The Commission found that the government regularly communicated intelligence warning of threats against Ms. Bhutto. This included a high-level communication on the day of the assassination by military's Inter-Services Intelligence Agency, the ISI. But it was not enough for the government to inform her of the dangers. Commensurate actions were not taken to protect Ms. Bhutto from these clear and present threats. There are many aspects to the inadequate security response detailed in this report. The third section of the report provides a detailed assassination timeline. This timeline gives the sequence of events that began at 2 p.m. on the afternoon of 27 December, when Ms. Bhutto departed from Islamabad for the campaign event in a public park in neighboring Rawalpindi, known as Liaquat Bagh, through to the assassination approximately 3 hours later, as her convoy attempted to depart that event. The timeline continues to the actions taken and not taken at the hospital to which Ms. Bhutto was moved and pronounced dead, and culminating in the transfer of her remains to an air base where she was received very late that night by her husband, Mr. Asif Ali Sardari, before being laid to rest the following day. A crucial moment towards the end of that timeline is a controversial government press conference held on the evening of 28 December 2007, just one day after Ms. Bhutto's assassination. At that televised press conference held by the Interior Ministry, the government announced it had identified both the culprits and the cause of death. It declared that Ms. Bhutto died from a head injury sustained when, from the force of the blast, she hit her head on the handle of the escape hatch of the car. It also declared that Ms. Baitullah Maqsood, a Pakistani Taliban leader linked with al-Qaeda, was responsible for the assassination, presenting as proof a telephone conversation intercepted by the ISI. The Commission found that this action preempted, prejudiced, and hindered the subsequent investigation. From the accounting of these events emerged many of the key questions that subsequently have left this assassination shrouded in mystery and controversy. These are analyzed in the following section of the Commission's report, assessing the criminal investigations. Among them, how, despite security plans intended to avoid such problems, was a crowd allowed to form around Ms. Bhutto's vehicle as it departed the event, stopping the convoy and proving an opportunity for the assassin to strike. What was the cause of death? Gunshots, as some still believe, or the suicide bomber's explosion? Why was no autopsy performed at the hospital, and why did a local police commander take the decision to prevent such one? Why was a crime scene hosed down less than 2 hours after the assassination, causing untold loss of evidence against all standard police procedures? Why the hastily arranged government press conference providing instant cause and culprits, an action that prompted widespread public skepticism and media outrage, as well as widespread suspicion that government authorities would not be conducting a genuine search for the truth? In addition to examining these questions, these issues, the report also provides an assessment of the first official investigation led by the Punjab authorities, which led to the arrest of 5 low-ranking suspects. The Commission found that in that investigation, little to no focus was placed on investigating those further up the hierarchy in the planning, the financing, and execution of the assassination. After the arrest of the 5 accused, the investigation essentially ceased, looking at the possibility of other perpetrators, particularly those who might have been behind the assassination. The investigation even ceased efforts to identify the suicide bomber, verify the authenticity of Mr. Maqsood's denial of involvement, or to get to whom might have been behind Mr. Maqsood, if indeed he did it. As many of you may know, Baitullah Maqsood, the alleged mastermind, was killed in an attack in August 2009. In considering the extent of the official investigation, the Commission developed a picture of the many sources of significant threats that Ms. Bhutto faced on her return to Pakistan. These included al-Qaeda, Baitullah Maqsood-led Taliban and other jihadi groups, and the so-called establishment in Pakistan, which consists mainly of elements of the country's military command and intelligence agencies and allied political parties and the business elite. The Commission believes that the criminal investigation of the assassination and the earlier failed attempt in Karachi in October 2007 must include a focus on those who may have been involved, not only at the direct operational level, but also in their conception, planning, and financing. In this regard, the pertinent authorities should follow all leads and explore all reasonable hypotheses, including the possible involvement of al-Qaeda, Taliban, and other jihadi groups, and those who form part of the establishment. In the course of its work, the Commission also spoke with a number of knowledgeable and credible persons who emphasized to us the pervasive reach, control, and clandestine role of intelligence agencies in Pakistani society. Particularly noteworthy was the intense involvement of intelligence agencies in criminal investigations without effectively subordinated law enforcement institutions. This pervasive involvement of intelligence agencies in the diverse spheres, which is an open secret, has undermined the rule of law and distorted civil-military relations. At the same time, it has contributed to widespread public distrust and fed a culture that thrives on competing conspiracy theories. Many of the main findings of the report have already been signaled by my previous comment. However, I will end by underlining some of them before concluding.